Story 1. My friends and I just spent a few hours experimenting with rave.dj. Pick two or more songs, copy and paste their YouTube or Spotify links, and let an artificial intelligence try to mash them up. You can get some surprisingly good results if you put in some effort, or even from just randomly combining songs. Making artificial intelligence do things is always a fun pastime. I woke up to many notifications. I'm glad everyone loves my suggestion and the amazing mixes. If you are having issues with the site not working properly, such as links disappearing or searches not working, it is because the surge of traffic caused it to break. It should start working properly once everything calms down, so maybe try again tomorrow. I did not think my comment would bring down an entire website. Story 2. Arrowwid.org provides information on the science, history, experiences, and legal aspects of nearly every drug, herb, and chemical that humans can consume. There are some fascinating and horrific experience stories. Story 3. This site chooses a random spot on Earth each time you refresh and shows you the Google Street View of it. Spend hours planning all the trips you will never take. Story 4. Google Maps. People do not seem to realize how incredible it is to be able to see literally the whole planet. If you showed this to a person who lived 50 years ago, they would be amazed. I have spent entire evenings just scrolling across distant countries, exploring villages in the far east of Russia or some desert in Mongolia, clicking on random landmarks and using an online encyclopedia to learn about various places. It made me realize how many people actually live on this planet and how vast it is. As European, I noticed that the Alps are actually not that big. There are many mountain ranges with much higher mountains that I guarantee you have never heard of. I think it is an amazing tool that can truly give you perspective. People use it in their daily lives to find the nearest coffee shop, but it is much more than that. Story 5. Zooniverse is a citizen science platform that helps scientists while allowing participants to have fun with real projects such as searching for exoplanets, studying features on Mars, and many more in various fields. Thank you all for the awards. Story 6. Honestly, if you have a friend or two you can call, wiki races are super fun. Someone picks a starting article and the other picks an ending article, for instance, Mongolian throat yodeling to the Vietnam War. You can only go page to page by using hyperlinks in the article. No searching with Ctrl+F and no C similar. It is actually really fun to see how people's brains work when it comes to this. There is also a version where you go from a random article to the Hitler Wikipedia page, but that is too easy. Edit. Okay, I get it. Mongolian throat yodeling to Vietnam War is easy. It was just the first two things that popped into my head. Story 7. Careful there, friend. I asked the same question 8 years ago, and someone said Reddit. I am still here procrastinating. Story 8. Search engine for pictures in the National Archives. Amazing old photographs with search capabilities. Story 9. Music from all over the world through the decades. Enjoy discovering different cultures. Story 10. Saltybet.com. Two bots compete in a fighting game with user-made characters, and you bet fake money on it. A match between Godzilla and Ronald McDonald can get surprisingly exciting. Story 11. Not sure whether anyone else has recommended Little Alchemy. There is also Little Alchemy 2, but I prefer the original. It is a one-player game where you begin with 4 elements: air, earth, water, and fire. By pairing them with one another in every possible way, you create other elements. There are more than 500 to find. It is extremely engaging. Story 12. A challenging game about squares. I have only reached level 20, but I am not certain, and that might be an overestimate. Story 13. I found this one off an old AskReddit thread a couple of weeks ago, but definitely wasted some hours on it. Story 14. The wiki game is a good game. The objective is to start at one Wikipedia page and race against other people to reach a completely different Wikipedia page by clicking on links to different articles. You could spend at least an hour on it. Story 15. I used to browse this website all the time. Story 16. I always love the opportunity to talk about archive.org because it is a wonderful and free resource where you can easily spend hours. It has millions of free downloads for music, movies, books, software, and more. One popular example is its large catalog of Grateful Dead recordings. There is also the Internet Arcade, where you can play many classic games, along with the console living room, which is similar. They provide access to numerous old PC games, and you can even play the original Oregon Trail online. There is much more in their software section as well. Archive.org also offers the Wayback Machine, which has archived more than 424 billion web pages, allowing you to see how websites appeared years ago. For example, you can view Reddit on July 25, 2005, a month after it was created. Story 17. Pretty much a one-time read of each email conversation, but still gave me some great laughs. Edit. Man, how times and my humor have changed in the past 10 years. That is hardly funny. The dude is just an ass. Story 18. You can never go wrong with the trustworthy old Wikipedia. I can keep clicking articles for hours, and even if it is not the most accurate source, I have learned about a lot of interesting information there. I think I have about 160 tabs open in the app, and I do not even use it that much. Story 19. You wake up in a dark, freezing room. Stoke the flames. Story 20. I have mentioned this website before, but it is a great resource. It is a fun, novelty website where you can easily lose yourself for hours with nostalgia. It uses YouTube videos to simulate watching television in the 1990s and allows you to specify the year you want, along with the categories you want to see when you change channels. They also have my 1980s television and my 1970s television websites. Story 21. It is a text adventure game about Bitcoin. It is very sarcastic and very well done. Story 22. You learn while accumulating grains of rice, which are then donated. The questions become harder as you answer more correctly. It is a rewarding experience. Story 23. Test your brain with number memory, reaction time, verbal memory, visual memory, hearing, and typing speed. Story 24. This is captivating. Story 25. If you would like to explore every music genre, it is available in a minimalist cloud interface called Every Noise. Story 26. Quickly lose track of time on YouTube. Once you fall down the rabbit hole, it is easy to waste your whole night. Story 27. I found that site the last time one of these threads was posted, and it completely amazed me. You could spend days clicking random things and still discover something new. Story 28. Play retro games online within your browser in the highest quality available. Game Boy Advance, Super Nintendo, Nintendo 64, PlayStation, Sega, and more. Emulator games play free on computers, tablets, and mobile phones. Very cool site. Story 29. Webkins. When I was a kid, that was like crack. I say like crack because I was addicted to crack 3 years ago, 1 year sober, and Webkins almost gives me the same feeling. Story 30. Try this one. Story 31. Omegle for sure. One night, my college friends and I got drunk and were on it from 10 p.m. until sunrise. Story 32. It's like standing in London and asking for directions to England. My friend, you are there. Story 33. Check out TV Tropes if you want to learn about all the various cliches and stock tropes you have encountered in media. If you are not sure where to start, pick your favorite book, movie, television show, video game, comic book, album, or even internet celebrity. You will be amazed to learn what cliches have names, formal or otherwise, and how often you have seen them. Story 34. You can do anything you want at zombo.com. Story 35. I would probably say Wattpad. I read a lot of cringy fanfictions. Story 36. Edited to ad. This site has many live cameras on animals. My favorite is the Decora eagle camera. Eaglets were just born this week. I think they fledge in about a month. So fascinating. Story 37. AI Dungeon. I was not able to get a link, but I think you can play it as an app or in a browser. Basically, it is a story-based, text-based game where you work together with artificial intelligence to write a story. You can create literally anything you can imagine, and this artificial intelligence will write it for you. It even handles mature content, and from experience, the artificial intelligence is just as good at writing those scenes as any other. It is impressive. If you want an artificial intelligence to write something specifically for you while you put in minimal effort, this is a good option. Can be inconsistent at times, but overall it is very good. Story 38. Etsy for me, I could sit there browsing for hours, looking through everyone's work, then feel upset because of how much better everyone is compared to me. Story 39. Snarky stories about a man who owns a used video game and console repair shop in the late 1990s. Story 40. I have no idea why, but I get a massive kick out of reading one-star reviews on Yelp, especially about Pizza Hut locations in California. I read one where a driver tipped himself $100 from a customer's card without their knowledge, until the bank sent an email saying the account was overdrawn. Why? Because apparently the customer did not tip him, and that Pizza Hut location did not care that their driver basically committed fraud. Story 41. This website might have been posted already, but it is addictive. Story 42. Hopefully this will not be removed as self-promotion, but I created this music toy a couple of months ago. The original version I found online was written in Flash, which is barely supported anymore. Click the tiles to make music. Story 43. I haven't seen this one in my brief search, but if you are into hunting stuff in the wilderness, this one is great. He has an entire series about finding a downed plane in the desert and multiple stories about finding people who disappeared in the desert. I have returned to this and read it multiple times because the story of Bill Iwasco and his whereabouts is very interesting. Story 44. This nicely done interactive game teaches you interesting information about the evolution of trust. Story 45. You can spend all night or apply for 4 weeks straight and not get paid. Story 46. Your world of text is an infinite online notepad. The most interesting thing about it to me is that there are roads people have made across it, and along the roads are things people have left behind and rumors of what is at the ends of the roads. People have also made ASCII landmarks, towns, and cities that others consistently add to along some of the roads. Story 47. A lot of inconsequential details, but also many obvious ones that will make you wonder how you ever missed them. Story 48. Here is a list I found on the internet and some here. Story 49. I spent one night reading information on Yokai Finder. Interesting, odd, and terrifying stories detail a good amount of Japanese, Chinese, and Indian folklore on oni, demons, spirits, and more. I wish there were more sites like this for other cultures that were as user-friendly. Story 50. TV tropes can be a huge time sink if you are not careful. At one point, I had 2 separate windows full of at least 10 TV tropes tabs. If you want to get lost, I recommend going to Dwarf Fortress and just opening up pages for all unfamiliar tropes. Story 51. My favorite activity is going on to Wikipedia and someone presses the random article button. Let's say it lands on monarch butterfly. Then you both randomize again and have to get to monarch butterfly using the blue clickable links. Whoever gets there first wins. I was in a long-distance relationship for 3 years. Quarantine is nothing compared to that. Story 52. Abridged scripts for movies, some of the funniest content you will read. Story 53. One of you kind souls sorting by new, help me out here. I used to know of a website where you looked at a grid of square buttons, maybe 10 by 10, kind of like a soundboard. Each one was tied to a note that you could activate or deactivate, and it constantly played your musical mix as you interacted with it. I thought it was very fun. Story 54. I have reached a point where I am simply watching animated adult content for the storyline. Story 55. You enter 2 Wikipedia pages, and it shows you the shortest hyperlink connection between those articles. Story 56. Nationstates.net is a massively multiplayer online website where you create your own nation, run it through simulations, and interact with other nations. Story 57. Cool Math Games is everyone's childhood website. Edit. Oh, and definitely BrainPop. It's an educational website that is very informative and fun to watch. Story 58. I just came across a website that offers a short test to determine your personality category. It is fun to take the test, and honestly, the results seem quite accurate and convincing. You can then read about your personality and gain useful insights. You can also experiment by taking the test again from the point of view of a different person, then compare the results. Additionally, you can learn about all other personality types and how to make a rough estimate of anyone's personality. It is up to you to experiment. I spent my whole day yesterday doing this. It was fun. Story 59. Bash.org is a collection of very old chat room quotes. Hilarious content. Story 60. Visit gacron.com, enter any year, and it will display the country's borders for that year along with significant events from 3000 BCE to the present day. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.